came like a king and left like a legend.
Zero people.
That's one of the most stupid questions.
Zero people.
I play all my season. Wash shit.
Bonjour, listener. Welcome to European Tuesday at the Worst Football Podcast. Today we're going to discuss that love is not brewing in Paris, and we're going to look ahead at the game of the UEFA Champions League that they're going to have with Barcelona. Also, we're going to discuss Atletico and the impact that the English FA has on their performance against Chelsea, as well as discussing Chelsea in itself and the managerial merry-go-round. This and much more in today's European Tuesdays. Hello, listeners. Welcome to another Tuesday, another European Tuesday at the Worst Football Podcast. So, Marco, what do you bring us to discuss today with Ste?
Yeah, so you might recall, Alex, that over the past 2 weeks we have analyzed many of the games of the next Champions League round, of the round of 16 specifically. But we have willingly skipped two of them, and one of them is Atletico-Chelsea and the other is Barcelona-Paris Saint-Germain. Main reason for that is that when the draw was made, these felt being the most equal matches, and probably the one that the most interested was going from all the viewers and listeners around the globe. And let me probably start from Atletico-Chelsea. Something has changed over the past couple of weeks, didn't it? Like, we're now seeing Lampard under a lot of pressure. Bookmakers are already seeing him out of the club. They're just bidding on who's going to be the next one. Is it going to be Brendan Rodgers coming back to a big team? Is it going to be Allegri potentially going back? Maybe even Terry, one of the former biggest players of the club and the captain of the club. Many names on the table, but it seems like Lampard is out the way.
Yeah, I mean, also you have also Tuchel, who, sliding door to the PSG situation. I mean, will basically also need a club after this, and with the German army up front, with Werner and Kai Havertz, could be a possibility.
Absolutely. What will bring, we need to see. I mean, we don't know the manager, right? But definitely Chelsea needs something more. The last loss against in the Premier League, the recent loss was really the nail that on the coffin for Lampard, I believe. The feeling is that the support he managed to get last year, despite the not suboptimal, we should say, result. But it was a particular season last year. I think this year he doesn't have any excuses. He spent over 100 million, around 150 million for two players, and none of them basically has performed. That is a problem that Lampard is responsible of as a coach, and for this and many other reasons, basically also the game of the team is not that exciting as the Chelsea fans were hoping to see. But it's leading me out of the way. Does this mean that Atletico is the favorite for this one by far? I mean, they are just demolishing the La Liga.
Well, in short, yes. And actually, a few weeks ago, I would have said that this was a very balanced match. But in light of the most recent results, now I would never say it. Like I simply do not see Chelsea passing through. That's the thing. I just see Atletico going on.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Who would be the manager? Sorry, who would be the manager that would maximize the odds for Chelsea?
You mean if I could choose any manager in the world?
Of those that are free, yes.
Maybe Massimiliano Allegri could be an option, but we also know that Allegri takes time to start to get things started, and so not even sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, you need a manager, one of those of impact, right? I mean, it's somehow the opposite of getting in a Sam Allardyce. I mean, a Sam Allardyce for the top teams, so to say, someone who's able to drive impact in the short term. It's a tough one because most of these managers, like Allegri and Tuchel, they have a blueprint that they need to follow. They have a known game plan, and that needs time. But the thing is, mid-season, no one really has time.
Yeah, precisely. It's gonna be definitely an interesting one. Atletico is by far in the advantageous position here. But talking about possibly moving to the other one, where another change of manager recently happened, and we do know who's gonna sit under on the Paris Saint-Germain bench under the Truffaut, and that's gonna be Pochettino. Has been poached, pun intended, by the Paris Saint-Germain management to be the new one and try to change something in the team. It wasn't really about the results, because we did see, despite with a little bit of luck, for sure, Paris Saint-Germain ending as first in the group stage of Champions League. At the same time, we're seeing Paris Saint-Germain, yes, not demolishing the Ligue 1, but at the same time, still being a very strong contender and potentially even the favorite, I would say, to win eventually the league. However, Tuchel missed something on the soft skill side, I believe. Don't you agree?
Basically, he was too German, is what you're saying?
Pretty much, yes, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, definitely very German from Tuchel's side. A lot of problems with the team, a lot of issues with the management. It was written in the stars, basically. So now the question is, how can Mauricio Pochettino really change the things? In the short term, it's going to be quite hard. I mean, he similar to what we were discussing about Tuchel and Allegri, he has a clear blueprint of how he wants his teams to play with the high gegenpressing, and for that you need players who are committed to doing that. And players like Neymar, Mbappe, and those are not really the easier ones to convince to first put the effort in and then see the rewards. Those guys, you need to buy into their confidence from day one. So I'm curious to see how it will develop.
That said, we need, of course, to analyze also for the strategical part of the team, right? The tactical side. Pochettino always loves inside forwards, I would call them. So wingers that love to cut inside from the edge of the box in. We have seen Son being probably the best example of these, starting as a wide midfielder, suddenly becoming a winger, and recently also played as a first striker when Kane wasn't there, or just supporting Kane. But he really changed Son as a player, and now he has player, which if you look at Mbappe, you could potentially say that the strengths of Mbappe are pretty much the same strengths of Son. Completely different players, fully agree, but you can see some similarities. Now, do you think that the January transfer market will be key for Pochettino? Because as far as we know right now, Pochettino actually asked for a couple of weeks to assess the team, really understand the player that they are before buying anyone. There were rumors about Inter trying to move Eriksen, one of the players that Conte didn't like of the Inter management purchases, to Paris Saint-Germain, as of course he was one of the best player at Pochettino's Tottenham. Now Pochettino has asked for time. He didn't want to sign off this exchange with Paredes immediately. Do you think that this player might help in Pochettino to get his style, or is it just a matter of time?
Well, it's mostly a matter of time, but I also think that something could be done now in January. And the thing is that the attack of Paris Saint-Germain is just so strong, and it's not the area which should be reinforced, right? It should be more about the midfield and perhaps the defense. And so something can be done maybe in January, even with the low budget that the COVID crisis gives to clubs. But I think it has to be balanced between the long-term growth and maybe some short-term advantage.
Yeah, but getting sorry, Alex, go.
Definitely. In terms of the team that Paris Saint-Germain has in the back is where we really see a big of handicaps. I mean, Tuchel always was playing with the whole what is Danilo Pereira and what is Marquinhos. One is the center back, the other is defensive mid, and he would switch them around. It almost seemed like a joke, to be honest. In terms of the center backs, they're actually quite robust. With Kimpembe, Kehrer, Diallo, but the left and right back. I mean, Florenzi, goes from loan on loan and is now the right back. They have on the left Kurzawa and Bernat, because Bernat is now injured. So Kurzawa, who was basically left stranded and not to join the team anymore, and all of a sudden he has to play. So they have a lot of problems left and right back. They never really suppressed the exit of Thomas Meunier to Dortmund, for instance.
Yeah, precisely. There's pieces missing, and also we have discussed it also when we were analyzing the Champions League last round, semi-final and final that Paris Saint-Germain play. Also in the midfield, despite the quality is there for the starting 11, there's definitely some gaps if you look at the bench. Once Verratti and Di Maria, whose, by the way, contract is expiring, are not there, it's really a mess to find some quality. The player that they have on the bench are by no means similar quality of the one starting. So there is something that needs to be changed. But I agree with you, the wing backs are probably the weakest point of Paris Saint-Germain right now. And for how Pochettino likes to play, they're also quite key in the game. He always loves to switch or rather start the play from the goalkeeper to the wing backs and from the wing back upwards. It's a very particular way of playing, but they need quality there, and I don't think they have the quality Pochettino wants.
Marco, would you say that giving Choupo-Moting away to Bayern Munich impaired their chances of passing around?
Well, we have a Choupo-Moting fan here. I don't think that's gonna be the difference, though. Although Choupo-Moting is a left wing back, we didn't see it yet, so potentially it could be the key. No, but jokes aside, what do you think now? Then, what does the Pochettino bring? Personally, I see Barcelona as a really not in a good mental and tactical place this year. So I believe, despite the change, despite the fact that from a tactical standpoint, they might be less ready than they would have been by keeping Tuchel. I think Paris Saint-Germain is still the one expected to win this game. Barcelona is coming as an underdog, potentially first time ever that we see in the round of 16 Barcelona as an underdog within the past 10 years. But it does feel like that, doesn't it?
It's weird, but I think that would summarize the whole situation of who's favorite in a very easy way, which is using Choupo-Moting. On one side you have a team who's lost Choupo-Moting and we're making fun of it. On the other side, you have a team that is playing with their Choupo-Moting as a starter now, with Martin Braithwaite being the starter for Barcelona. This is a 29-year-old Danish guy who was one of the last teams of La Liga, who went to Barcelona because they needed a striker after the transfer market closed. So, and he's now the starter at Barcelona. So yeah. I think it's basically some like that.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I really think that's the best way to summarize this situation for Barcelona this year. Weird one, but we know that the big two in Spain, Barcelona and Real Madrid, are in a transitional year. They're both expecting to make big changes next year. Let's see what the next transfer market will bring. This year, I think, is going to be a little bit of pain for both of them. But either way, to be honest, Barcelona Paris Saint-Germain is one of the games I'm most excited. I think Messi, not being in the best form, not being in the best mindset, in this game, he really wants to show that he's still the best, or he believes to be the best. At the same time, we have up front in Paris Saint-Germain a lot of quality. I think Di Maria, Neymar, Mbappe is three of the most gifted player that we have in each of their position. Left wing, there's not that many that play there as good as Neymar. As a very quick striker, I think Mbappe is the best. And again, Di Maria is a mezzala or very offensive midfielder. I think, again, it's one of my favorite, despite his age and the contract running out. So very excited for this game, and I hope that everyone is. But before closing this episode, there's your favorite section that waits for you, and this is meme section of the day.
Yes, people. Yes, we need to discuss the meme of the week, and this one is brought to you from the last game, Atletico-Chelsea. It is basically a meme on itself. Imagine this: the English Football Federation has now chosen that one player from the Atletico team cannot play against Chelsea. That is basically a meme. So congratulations to the English FA to decide who Simeone can play. They've decided that Kieran Trippier will not play against Chelsea. So they're quite nice of doing that. The reason for this is they suspended the poor chap for 10 weeks because he told his friends he was going to go to Atletico Madrid before the transfer occurred. So the friends betted on the transfer, earn money, and now he's being labeled as someone who enabled gambling. So, yeah, I mean, congratulations to the English FA to make it easier for Chelsea.
Yeah, at that point you can do how we do it in Italy, right? You directly bet on the game and you get the money.
Yeah, that's another way. That's another way.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, so thank you for listening to our European Tuesdays. Thanks, Marco, and thanks, Te.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, boys.